Duet Night Abyss is a new action RPG launching globally on October 28th, and with it, today I'll be walking you through all you need to know to start strong in said gacha game. We'll talk about how its systems work, what makes it different from other games, and smart tips so you don't waste time or resources early. Only I actually lied here because this is no longer a gacha game either when it comes to its characters or even some of its systems. Without further ado though, let's get straight into it. Duet Night Abyss's gameplay blends melee and ranged combat, with characters being able to freely swap weapons mid-fight. This is unlike most modern gachas where X character is locked by Y weapon, but in terms of the world, magic and machinery coexist, and the story follows two protagonists with intersecting paths that you'll experience from dual perspectives. The story is also a major part of the game's selling point, as the narrative, storytelling, and presentation of visuals plus audio in this game is amazing. But as I teased earlier, the biggest and most recent change to Duet Night Abyss is the removal of both gacha banners and the stamina system. All characters and weapons will be unlockable through gameplay, not random pulls, and monetization will instead focus on cosmetics like skins and visual customizations, which is something that has stirred the pot and the industry quite a bit, with titles like cannaaaa also sharing a similar vision. In regards to the characters themselves, anyone can use any weapon, so you're never locked into a specific style. You can also freely swap between close and long-range combat, which is pretty nice, especially when reloading or needing to wait on cooldowns for one weapon or one of your unique abilities. Each character also has two active skills and two passive skills, all drawing from a resource called sanity, and sanity regenerates over time, but managing it effectively is important to get the most out of your skills. Demon wedges are another layer of customization. These are slotted into characters or weapons to boost stats, modify skills, or add new passive effects, and though it might take a while before you see the better wedges, these are very impactful and still important even in the early parts of Duet Night Abyss. You'll also have AI companions who can fight alongside you, adding synergy without requiring constant micromanagement. But now let's actually talk about combat. Combat in Duet Night Abyss is fast and reactive, with hack and slash combos and shooter mechanics working side by side. Enemies also often demand both ranged and melee approaches, as certain enemies will fly or run away from you, making weapon swapping kind of essential. Movement is another big part of gameplay too, with double jumps, wall runs, helix jumps, and slides, but from my last experience with Duet Night Abyss, this may still need some fine-tuning. Progression will also come through story missions, dungeons, and farming content for drops, but since the stamina system has been removed, you can actually grind as much as you want without artificial restrictions. Characters, weapons, and gear unlock through fragments and gameplay milestones, keeping progression in your control and also at your own pace. With gacha gone though, the main way to unlock characters and weapons is through gameplay and direct unlock systems. Premium spending is primarily focused on cosmetics like skins, palette swap, and aesthetic effects, and this makes the economy and your currency spending much more straightforward, as what you earn in combat is specifically what drives your power directly, at least at launch. Now, let's talk about beginner mistakes to avoid. First, though it may be tempting, try not to rush into spending money early, since all weapons and characters are free to unlock. Avoid overcommitting to one build as well, as testing multiple weapons and demon wedges first will be important, especially as there are probably many changes from closed beta or open beta to launch. That said, since you have the freedom to move wedges around, test multiple characters, and also have the ability to experiment with its new free farming system, you don't need to worry too much about this at first, but it will save some time in the long run. To add to this, you should definitely try learning and mastering Duet Night Abyss's movement system, as exploring and mobility in general is very important for reaching difficult locations, unlocking hidden secrets, and just avoiding damage as a whole. Finally, as a more general note, staying patient, especially with games like this, is very important, as unlocks and currency may take time to accrue, so pace yourself accordingly. Now let's talk about tips for launch and for the future of the game. Now, of course, you should definitely focus on clearing story missions so that you can unlock as many systems as early as possible, but to add to this, you should also try out as many weapons and demon wedge setups as you can before you really commit to upgrades. That said, the cost of many of these upgrades, at least from beta, were not super expensive, but with the newly introduced no stamina restrictions, taking advantage of the ability to replay dungeons and farm materials when it suits you is definitely a good idea. Saving premium currency as always for cosmetics that you truly want once you know your preferences is also ideal, but as usual as well, you should also keep an eye on patch notes, as balance changes, mail, and freebies slash new changes are also very likely at launch. You should also set smaller goals like unlocking weapons or maxing a character's skills, as these will make meaningful steps towards progressing your account, all without overwhelming yourself in this game that has tons of characters, weapons, and variations. As a final note, Duet Night Abyss does share similarities with other action RPGs of its kind, where some builds and characters are designed with the intention of optimizing your play so that you can actually AFK or farm for as long as possible. As a result, keep this in mind when considering your builds or what kind of setup that you plan on running. With this as a reminder, Duet Night Abyss is launching October 28th with fast action combat, full character and weapon unlocks, no gacha, and no stamina limits. Despite this, I would honestly still suggest players just take a moment to really appreciate the story Duet Night Abyss is cooking up, as it is one of the few teary-eyed experiences I've actually had in the gacha space. When looking to progress and reach later stages of the game, however, stick with story missions first, play around with weapon swaps and demon wedges, and save your resources for when you know what you enjoy most. I hope this video helps with your prep and understanding of what to expect come launch day though for Duet Night Abyss, and I'll see you there soon. Thanks again for watching though guys, stay safe, stay healthy, good night.
These ones are tough to deal with. Be cautious.
Pathetic weaklings. Get lost. Tremble.
Weakness identified.
Surrender to me.
This is so fun!
Scream louder, then I might show you some mercy.